Hi guys, this is Nathara, and it's been a little while. I think I had dropped a short that I was going to be back. First of all, how is everyone? Feels like everything's kind of on fire, so the first thing I want to do is check in and see how everyone is doing. Is everyone okay? Is everyone still here? I'm sure not everyone is getting notifications here anymore. I'm sure a lot of you have moved to TikTok or Instagram or have wandered off away from YouTube, and I get that. So I'm sorry to have lost you. I'm back here on YouTube. I kind of wanted to share a little bit about where I have been and what I have been up to. So in 2022, at the end of the pandemic, I had heard that work from home was here to stay. And as you know, I had determined I was never going back to an office again many years ago. But I had begun working in computer programming and website development and application development back when I was in high school in the 90s. And so I thought here was my chance to go back into that and embrace tech that I love so much. And so I did that. I went back and I got a tech job. I was a software developer. I learned a lot about what happened to software development in the decades that I had just kind of been in and out doing a freelance thing and off and on and all that kind of stuff. In that time, I learned React. I learned React Native. I learned Flutter. I learned Vue and Angular. I learned Rust. I learned Python. I learned a lot of different platforms. I learned Kubernetes. I learned Docker. I learned AWS. I learned Google Cloud Platform. I learned about Cloudflare. I learned about VPSs, and I learned about VPNs, and so many other things. Rust. I think Rust was the really hard one. But I learned a ton of things. I learned that people have the option to choose between front end and back end now. Not such a thing when I was younger. I even got a job at Dell. But layoffs happened. I'm not working there anymore, and you can see what's happening with the tech industry now. And I learned some new philosophies as well. I learned about accelerationism, and I learned about effective altruism. I got to have conversations, actual real conversations, with the CEO of Threads and Instagram. I've talked with one of the co-founders of Facebook. I don't feel fantastic about the tech industry at this point anymore. And I'm sure you guys can understand why, if you've been following what's been going on. You guys are on different platforms. Surely you've seen what's going on in the tech industry and how things are going in our society as a result. So I do tend to approach tech with kind of a rose-colored glasses. I did learn tech in the 90s, and so I do have my high hopes for it. I still do. I still have high hopes for it. I'm still on platforms and things. I just, after being laid off a couple times, and now with, that kind of philosophy taking over, I don't feel so great about. Anyway, the culture is a problem. So I feel like now I want to take tech like more as a hobby, back where it was in my life before, and I want to come back and focus more on the spiritual teachings and philosophy. Really have gotten deep into philosophy at this point. And in fact, I'm back in school again. I re-enrolled. I'm going to finish out my bachelor's degree. So I think that I'm probably, and I'm kind of still wavering on this and still trying to figure out, but I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to be working on pursuing psychology later on, and really like blending it with my spiritual practice, which is a thing that I learned that you could do, and I did not know that you could do the first time I went to college back in the late 90s. So I'm pretty excited about that. I did not know you could do that, and now it's so exciting. So I'm back doing tarot through my private site and on the hotlines again. And I'm looking into teaching meditation at various centers in the Valley. That's so weird to say. I'm so sorry about that. Looking at teaching meditation, looking at my partner and I, the one that I've been with for so many decades. We're also photographers. You guys are probably familiar with me talking about that before. Because we're photographers, we like to go hiking and out into nature and those kinds of things. And we tend to hike very slowly as a result because we're constantly stopping to take pictures. And so, but we're also in this time really observing nature and our surroundings and kind of soaking it in. And as a result, we tend to creep about, right? We're moving very slowly and being very quiet and kind of creeping as we do so. And I think more than any other times we're out in nature, we tend to go unnoticed as a result. The chipmunks and the squirrels and the birds acclimate to our presence and they don't realize that we're there because we're being quiet, we're moving very slowly. And so we tend to we creep up on we tend to creep up on deer and bears and all sorts of animals, and they just kind of start ignoring that we're there. So it's really a fun and fascinating experience. And it is a very spiritual experience as a result, and we really get to spend that time in nature, and not just spending time there. Of course, we're getting to see the rhythm of the environment that we're in. We don't get to cover a lot of ground, obviously, because we're not moving very quickly. We're spending a lot of time in one area. And so I think getting to spend that amount of time in one area, one space, allows us to really get to know that environment in a more intimate way. That's probably what people are really into when it comes to camping, really getting to spend time in a specific space and get to know it. But we're really spending that time observing what the insects are doing, what the flowers are doing, what the birds are doing. And I think that's a really special thing. And I'm trying to figure out how to frame that, to bring it to other people, to allow other people to have that experience as well. So working over that, someone probably already has a word for it, and I'm trying to find it. But really bringing that connection to nature back into things. And I think that's going to be important for the next 4 years and longer, as a result of where we are in society and with this political climate. And again, I really want to know where you guys are with that. And that kind of, brings me to where I feel like these practices are going to be really important. Mandy's going to help us. I don't know if you guys have met Mandy. This is Mandy. Speaking of tarot readings, tarot has gotten very difficult. I love tarot so much, and it's something that I've spent a lot of my life doing. Those of you guys who have been around the channel for a while know that I started reading when I was 9, so I've done all the way through high school and my entire adult life as well. But lately, everyone that I have done a reading for has been in some kind of toxic and abusive situation, and that's very unfortunate to see. And I feel like that's very consistent with where we are as a society, and especially in this political situation. And it really just breaks my heart. And I really feel like we need to be looking out for each other and making connections in our small local communities, our in real life communities. I love the internet, I love social media, and I will go down fighting for it. But those in-person personal connections really matter a lot too. And that's how we help each other. That's how we save each other. We need those real life personal connections at least as much as we need the internet ones, especially with things going the way that they are. So try to look out for your neighbors and make those connections with each other. Really hope everyone's doing okay. But when I ask how you're doing, and I think I've asked a couple times now, I mean it. Let me know in the comments how you're doing, because I am deeply worried. So I'm planning to be on this channel a lot more. I keep saying that, but I really mean it. I think that I'm in a position where I can take the time to do that. Between work and school, I do find myself very busy, but I worry a lot. So I want to start bringing things to this channel. I want to do more meditations together, more grounding together, more centering together, and I'm thinking about doing these in more of a live setting with replays so that people can put it on their schedule. Let's start getting those meditations in. Let's get some stretching and moving around and make some time in our day to just sit and be together. I'll try to make that something that we can really plan for. I'm going to be trying to set those things up in my local in-person community as well. So I think that we should go ahead and set them up online too. I think that would be really helpful. I think it's very doable right here on YouTube. I know Google's not the best platform, but I'm not sure that there's a better one. If you guys have any ideas, let me know again in the comments. They're right there. So let's try to stay in touch better. Let me know that you're still out there, and let's get this started. I'm glad to be back. I hope you guys are still out there. And again, for reals, let me know how you're doing. And let me know what you've been up to. Let me know what I've missed that you guys have been doing. I would love to hear whatever you've accomplished. Tell me about whatever you've been going through. What's been going on? All right, let's talk soon.